Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Matt Bernier. The DRFBets race of the day for Thursday, July the 19th, race number 3 at beautiful Del Mar. We are going 5 furlongs on the turf, and it is a race you can bet with your very own DRFBets account and the $100 in free cash that goes along with it. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Here's the field for race number 3, your Thursday DRFBets race of the day. You can access free formulator past performances on the race of the day event page at drf.com. Download them and handicap along with us. We'll take this field in post position order. And Matt, I think the one Painting Corners has a very good chance here at 6-1. This is a course and distance winner, making the important third start of the form cycle. I think in his first race back, he was done in by a combination of the layoff and a fast pace. And last time out, I think Tyler Bays was a little bit too quick to concede the lead to GQ Covergirl. He's inside GQ Covergirl this time around. I think he's putting the pedal to the metal, is going to try to wire this field.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. This is a horse that from a speed figure standpoint makes a lot of sense, has those 3 consecutive 84 buyers, and I think you're looking at something along those lines to be good enough. And the fact that you really, 5/8 of a mile, that's kind of I understand that's how many of these turf sprints are run. 5/8 is a specialty distance. You either can do it or you can't do it, especially when you're a horse that goes out there in gate-to-wire fashion. The fact that this one's won over the Del Mar surface, I think there's a lot to like about this horse.
Good news about the 2 Poster Girl is she's coming into this race off a career best buyer victory on May the 11th. May the 11th, 2017. That's the bad news. We haven't seen Poster Girl in a long time. She's coming back at this sharp distance of 5 furlongs, and I wonder if the connections just want to see a good, safe run with a solid late kick, and we'll point for something down the road.
I was going to say, I wonder if it's going to be a combination of another turf sprint or stretching out in distance, but I agree with you. I mean, the bar's got to be set at a reasonable level where you can't expect her to come back being gangbusters, but at the same time, you'd like to see some sort of a late run.
Little Bit Me's been in pretty good form for trainer Doug O'Neill. Solid runner-up effort in the most recent race. That race was won by Bernina Star, who came back to be stakes placed on dirt with an 87 buyer speed figure. A Little Bit Me, though, was a vet scratch on June the 22nd, so she's coming into this race off about a 2-month layoff, but she's got good tactical speed. We'll see about the 5.
She's another one that fits very well from a speed figure standpoint, but the 5/8 of a mile, that to me is always the great unknown until they do it. She's tried it one time in her career. I kind of feel like she's more of a tweener between 6.5 and a mile. We'll find out how the 5 furlong works.
9.9 is the number 4. This horse was used up chasing a fast pace set by GQ Covergirl last time out. I guess this time around, if they had their druthers, maybe they could try to tuck in behind those horses, because I don't think those on-the-pace tactics with GQ Covergirl and a more aggressively handled Painting Corners, I don't think aggressive tactics are going to work in this spot.
Nor do I, and that's the main reason that I just don't have any real interest in her, because I think she is sort of a need-to-lead type or has to be forwardly placed, and I'm just not convinced that, 1, she really has that kind of gas to run with those horses, and 2, even if you do, it's probably going to be detrimental to the overall game.
The 5 Lake Time's been away for about 5 months, Matt, but the last time she set foot on the turf, she was just in a field eons better than the one she's going to be facing on Thursday. Not only 2 next out winners, but one of them, Blame It on Alfie, came back to win with an 89, was then stakes placed with a 94, then was third again with a 90. Lake Time's okay. How much does the layoff bother you, if at all?
Yeah, no, it certainly does concern me, because she hasn't really run her best races in the past off of layoffs. She usually needs one before we get her best effort. But I have to be honest with you, I was most impressed with her start 3 starts back, and then all of a sudden they went to the turf with her, and I said, what are we doing here? She ran just fine in the turf race, though. I thought it was a good enough effort, especially when you consider, and you'd brought it up, the horses that she ran against, they would be odds on in races like this, where the winner, Miss Southern Miss, she came back and earned that 86. You brought up Blame It on Alfie. Zafina, even the 3rd place finisher, earned an 83 in her next start, and the 5th place finisher an 85. If Lake Time is ready to go, I like that she has tactical speed. The concern is she going to be ready to go off this kind of layoff?
6 May Girl proved very comfortable at this 5 furlong distance overseas last year. It's kind of been thrown to the wolves in both North American starts by Jim Cassidy, both graded stakes efforts going long. Kind of surprising considering this horse never raced beyond 5.5 furlongs overseas. So the cutback in distance, I think, is going to work a little bit for this filly. But while she was facing good graded competition last time out, she was also facing fellow 3-year-olds. She's in against elders here.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I have no idea what to make of her. To me, I almost think that she's like a first-time starter over here in the States, because like you say, you're going 5 and 5.5 over in Europe, and then you come here and you go 8 and 9 furlongs. It's almost like everything's backwards, and now all of a sudden we're going to go that 5/8 distance that she's accustomed to. I would almost, if you like her, I would approach her like a first time here in North America and just totally disregard those first 2 starts.
The 7 Laney is a little bit slow on paper, yet to crack 80 on the Bayer Plateau, but I think there are some things to like. I wouldn't completely discard her. Last time out going this distance at Golden Gate Fields on the turf, there really wasn't a lot of pace. Look at those fractions for a 5-furlong race. 46-1 for the half. She was held up in behind, ended up in some traffic in the lane. I'll throw that race out. Her prior turf effort against Calabrese was pretty good going down the hill on February the 2nd.
Yeah, like you say, she got a victory that most recent time. That was on February the 2nd. That most recent start, though, at Golden Gate, going 5/8. The only thing that really bothers me, the horses exiting that race, they really haven't done a heck of a lot. The winner earned a 56 in her next start, the runner-up a 73, and the third-place finisher a 79. I just think this girl's going to be facing much better company this time around.
The number 8 is Pastime, going out for Vicky Oliver, and this is a trainer, an under-the-radar trainer you might want to keep an eye on for the entire Del Mar meet. She's sent some live horses out to Southern California in the past. This horse is capable at 5 furlongs. She's due for 13 lifetime, however, and I'm not sure how much improvement is left in the tank. With a best buyer of 76, she's going to need some pace. She might get it here.
Yeah, she might get a decent setup, but the concern becomes, is she good enough to win in a spot like this? Again, I don't want to use her on top, but I suppose if you are going to use her for an exotic wager, I'd use her maybe underneath.
Turf debut for the speedy Washington bred number 9. That is Invested Prospect, a horse that's won 8 of 14 lifetime, and the only other time she's set foot on an alternative surface, if you believe that the good synthetic effort leads to a good turf effort, well, she's got that one race at Golden Gate where she went gate to wire. I just think she's a pretty good filly. The question is, how does she class up against these horses in her current form? I see 5 races, 6 races recently slow.
Yeah, it's slow, and then also, again, that running style. We spoke about that with one of the other girls earlier, drawn to the inside. The idea that your best game is speed. All of 8 of her victories have been in gate-to-wire fashion. Maybe she is fast enough to make the front, but if she does that, then she's got to put the other speeds away and hold off some quality off-the-pace runners. There's just a lot going against her in a spot like this.
Throw up that time form U.S. pace projector. You know the 9 Invested Prospect's going to be involved. The 10 GQ Cover Girl, she's pure speed. We'll get to the 11 Surrender Now, making her turf debut in a bit. As for GQ Cover Girl, I think you could look at her last race one of 2 different ways. One, you could say, boy, that was a disappointing loss. She had a clear lead inside the 16th pole, and she was run down by her uncoupled stablemate Fizzy Friday. Or you could say, hey, Dan, what are you talking about? Check out those Timeform U.S. pace ratings for the last. They're color-coded red. She blazed the way early, put everybody away, and just got run down late. Turning back to 5, her speed should play well. I think she's a contender. I wouldn't go too low on the tote.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want anything too short considering her running style, but I think it is worth noting that you go back to June the 1st of 2017, she sat a length off in a dirt race and went on and passed horses and got the job done. So she has, at least in the past, shown the ability to sit just off and make a run. Now, whether she can do that on turf or not, we'll find out. But again, just this pace situation wouldn't surprise me at all if we ended up seeing just a ballistic opening quarter mile.
Can the 11 Surrender Now run anymore? She was so promising in her first 2 starts, including an 8-length score against fellow juvenile fillies sprinting on the dirt in a stakes race. She got hurt in the Sorrento. She came back off a long layoff. She hasn't done any running at all. She does have a little bit of turf pedigree.
I guess the problem is ever since she had that long layoff, she's come back and she's popped and stopped in both of those races. And it just makes me wonder, okay, even if you've got that good early speed, there's so much other speed in this race that is really going to work for you. If you stop it as badly as you have in each of these past 2, what's going to happen here when you go even faster early?
Young Stallion Morning Line is 4 for his first 18 with first-time turf runners. The dam's a half to a stakes place synthetic sprinter. There is turf deeper in the family. And to add to the speed party, I guess the 12 Go On Mary, who returned off a 6-month layoff with a gate-to-wire performance last time out at 7-1 odds. This is a filly who I don't think needs the lead to succeed, but if she rates, she might end up getting really wide on the backstretch.
And that's the thing that you need to start factoring in talking about these horses drawn to the outside, where, okay, it's one thing if you say, we don't want to get hooked in any sort of a speed duel. Well, the problem then becomes you run the risk of being hung 5-6 wide going around the far turn. I think Go On Mary, I think Pratt has to make a little bit of a decision early. I don't even want to say you can play the break. You got to use a little bit of speed so you don't get totally hung wide, but I don't think you want to get into a pitched battle I think at best you're 3 or 4 wide, and you can just hope that you're better than everyone else.
But she's sharp, coming off a career best Beyer performance and a positive formulator fact for trainer Doug O'Neill. Over the past 5 years, older last-out winners making their second start off the layoff in a turf sprint, 30% winners, a $2.48 return on investment. We kick off the Pick 6 on Thursday at Del Mar with race number 3. We'll take a look at our top selections. To me, I'm going to have to go a little bit deeper than my sole top selection, who is GQ Cover Girl. I thought she had to go too fast last time out at a distance that might be stretching it for her against these kind of horses. I like her back at the 5, and my hope is the 9 Invested Prospect, the 11 Surrender now, their speeds. But they haven't shown that kind of speed on turf just yet, and maybe they won't. And if they don't, GQ Cover Girl now all of a sudden might have to deal with the 1 Painting Corners, and I think she might be slightly better than that one right now. I'll go with GQ Cover Girl. You like Lake Time coming off the bench, and this is just a great spot from a class perspective.
Class perspective, the way this race looks like it's going to set up on paper, I think that's going to work to her advantage as well. I am concerned, though, that she seems like she's one that does her best running second off the bench and with a little bit more racing, so perhaps she's not ready to go. But I respect a couple horses in here. I picked your horse second, GQ Cover Girl. I think she is the one that I don't want to say is the most likely winner of the race, but because this is a bit of a scramble as well. But I think she could work out the perfect trip in this spot. I went 5, 10, 1, and 3.
Matt's going 5, 10, 1, 3. I'm going 10, 12, 11, 2 in race number 3 at Del Mar on Thursday. Your DRFBets formulator race of the day. Again, sign up to DRFBets. Get $100 in free cash. Start punching away at Del Mar on Thursday. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for the Thursday formulator race of the day, 3 o'clock Pacific. Best of luck.